Hey there, my friends. It's Jen Pitta with By the Shore Stamping. Welcome into another edition of Teach Me Tuesday. Today I wanted to show you a fun way to use your punches. So obviously these are great for sentiments and for all sorts of crafting fun, but I actually like to use my punches for my backgrounds too. So you can see here I used the butterfly punch as a background on this card. I used the same pool party die cuts on top of pool party card base, which you all know I love tone on tone, so that works perfectly for me. So I added the die cuts to the front of the card and then trimmed off the edges and made a fun unique background. And we're going to do the same thing with this punch here, the Tailor Tag punch. This one makes really great background because it's flat edges, so you can line them up so that they're all straight. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to surprise you again and not show you the finished card. I like to do that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and fold the card base in half to make our card. This is Coastal Cabana at 5.5 by 8.5. And I'm just going to fold that, and I can set that aside because we're actually going to build our base on a piece of 3 3/4 by 5-inch piece of crumb cake cardstock. And then I went ahead and I used the Pressed Petals Designer Series paper. You can see this is the back side. I cut out, I think there's 12 or so of these. I just punched out a bunch from the Designer Series paper to begin with. And what you want to do is you're going to go ahead and start to line this up first. And I wanted it to go all the way to the edge, so I'm going to start at the top here. And I usually lay it out first, that way you can make sure you get it positioned the way you want it. But as you can see, I'm doing it this way because I don't want little peaks of crumb cake coming through like that. So I'm going to go ahead and slide them all the way up to the top and line them up, kind of butt them together, and I'm just leaving small amount of space in between. So I'm going to go ahead and get them all lined up, and then I'm going to use this little point right here, and that's where I'm going to line up this row. So I'm going to start with those middle points, get them lined up both horizontally and vertically. And I'm not taping anything down yet. I'm just kind of positioning them all to make sure I have what I need. I'm going to go ahead and line that one up there. And this one will go here. So you can see it takes quite a few to fill the whole page. If you do like I did with the last one, with the butterfly one, you can just use less because it's just kind of randomly all over. This one I wanted to be really kind of like color blocking here and making them fill the whole page. So there, this worked out well. So there you can see I have the whole thing laid out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my adhesive and I'm going to tack these down first. And then attach these individually. This takes a little bit of time, but I promise it's worth it in the end. I'm going to do, whoops, just crumpled that up. Go ahead and do that. It's really important to get them tacked down as soon as you can, because as you can see, I've moved these around a bunch of times just by hitting them. So I'm going to tack these all down first. And then I usually try to do the full ones first and then fill in the ones that are just pieces after, because it's a little more important that these are straight and where they're supposed to be. Like that. We're almost there. A little bit here. Like I said, this is a little bit more of a fussy card, but I love the look. So if you've got somebody you need to make a card for that's extra special on your A list, this is a good one. All right, and we'll do this. Almost there. There's going to be a little bit of a hole at the bottom, but I'll show you what I do for that. So I have some leftover pieces from the card I made before, so I can actually check to see, like, see that little piece will fit right in there. I used this side, but I can totally use the top of this, so you're not wasting a whole bunch of pieces of paper. And just use that little bit there. And then I can probably do the same thing with this one. It cut off a little bit. Let's try the other side. I could probably get away with that. Let's see if this one's better. Well, I have one more, so if I didn't have one already punched, I would use one of those, but I got this one, so we'll just use this. Alright, so then that goes down like this. Okay, so now you can see that I have my full background piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors, and I use my adhesive scissors because there's going to be adhesive on some of these. So I have some scissors that are for ribbon, I have some scissors that are for paper, and then these, I don't care if they get sticky because I use them for sticky stuff all the time. So I'm going to use these to actually cut this all around the edge of the cardstock. That's why I flipped it over, so that you could actually see where you're going. And I actually could have used some of these for those little spaces if I had trimmed this off first, but I wasn't thinking. And I had that other one already cut, so it didn't really matter. Alright, and whoops. A little bit more off here. Come on. Keeps getting stuck. Oh goodness. Come on. There we go. Alright, so now I'm just going to slide these out of the way. And I'll reveal the magic. Hold on. So then when you flip it over, you have that really fun background. So, I wanted to tie a little bit of ribbon. I used one of my favorite stamp sets for this. It reminded me of just kind of like cheetah print or some sort of animal print. So I pulled out the Animal Outing stamp set, which y'all know is one of my favorites. And I'm going to go ahead and I went around twice on my sample card, but I'm not sure this will make it twice. Oh yeah. Maybe. Let me just pull it a little bit. There we go. Alright, perfect. Just enough of this linen thread. Come on. Alright. I'll fix that in a minute. Then I'm going to go ahead and tie this in a knot first, because I find that if I tie a knot with the linen thread first, it makes it a little easier to tie the bow. And then I can straighten this out. I kind of want it to overlap a little bit. I'm going to make a little crisscross like that. And then tie a little bow. It's kind of a baby bow, but it will work. Little baby bow. There. I'm going to trim this off just a little bit. Whoops. With my ribbon scissors. Okay. Now I can go ahead and attach this to the card base, which is going to go right in the middle. I'm going to switch that down a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to do some stamping. I love how this looks though. It's such a fun technique and a great way to use your punches. Get a lot of value out of those. Alright, so next I took, I die cut this with my die cutting machine using the Stitched Shapes dies. And I'm going to ink up this little kangaroo from the Animal Outing stamp set using the basic, the Memento black, because I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends on this. So you want to use Memento black because it will work with the alcohol-based markers without bleeding. And then I just used light and dark crumb cake blends to color this, and through the magic of TV, there you go, all colored. Look at that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. Actually, I lied. I also cut a piece of soft seafoam with the layering circles stamp set, and I'm going to tape that down flat onto the card and stick that in here. kind of centered off to the left. And then I'm going to use my dimensionals for this one. So I'll flip this over, put some dimensionals down on my little kangaroo. Whoops, that's an extra one. Peel these off. And then these are going, this is going to go right on top of the soft seafoam, centered in the middle. Like that. And then I really love the Wild About You sentiment. And I just wanted another pop of color. So I grabbed some Petal Pink ink and the Wild About You stamp. And we'll stamp that on here. And I really wanted to separate those words to put them individually. That stamp is not completely straight though. So it's a little trickier. But I just used my scissors to kind of trim around the words. So I just cut strips. And it's a little curvaceous, but it's all good. I'm going to go ahead and just trim these down really tight so it's just the word. And again, I'm not worrying about perfect straightness. We'll do this one same way, just kind of as close as I can get to the words. This is a little bit crooked, so I'm going to straighten that out a little bit. There we go. And then this one's going to be a little crooked because it's kind of crooked anyway. I'll trim this down just a little bit. Whoops. There we go. And then a little on this side. And there, I have my 3 words kind of separated. And I'm going to take my card and I'm going to position these kind of like this. Oh, here we go. And then the about. Just using my regular adhesive here. I'll stick that kind of hanging off a little bit. Oh, I just put that in the wrong order. Don't pay attention to me. It should be Wild About You, not You About Wild. Whoops. All right, there we go. All better. Good thing I caught that. Before I sent it to anybody, they'd think I was crazy. Although most people probably think I'm crazy anyway, so it's all good. Okay, so whoops, I just dropped that. I'm gonna do that. What was I just gonna show you? I was gonna do something else and I lost my train of thought because I just did that wrong. I'm gonna add some bling and I'll think about what that was. And that's gonna bug me. I don't remember. Okay, I'm using my Take Your Pick tool. This thing's great for these little sequins. This is the iridescent sequin mix from Stampin' Up. And I'm just going to grab some of the light pink ones. So this little putty thing at the end picks up your sequins. And I just kind of drop them in the position I want them. And then I'll actually put some liquid glue down to hold it once I get them where I want them. And again, you want to work in odd numbers usually for design principles. So I'm going to do, stick this over here. And one over here, and then I'll grab another one here, put it up here. So I got 3 large ones, and I'm going to do 2 small ones. I got a little blue one there, and a little blue one here. It's really bugging me. Oh, I know what it was. Oh, it came back to me. Oh, good. Thank goodness. I wanted to share something else with you. So, on that kangaroo, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but I colored outside of the lines. So I'm going to fix it actually using my color lifter. I don't know if you can see it, but oh wait, I forgot. Those sequins aren't attached. Hold on, let me do that. I have ADD today. All right, let's go ahead and we'll put a little bit of glue dropped everywhere. And then you can use your little tool here. Sometimes I have to flip it back over. There we go. And put that down right on top of the glue dot. Or not the glue dot, the liquid glue. And this is a baby one. Put that one there. There we go. And then I'll put a couple more drops of liquid glue here. When you're done with the liquid glue, the fine glue, I always bang it on the table. It gets the glue out of that little tiny hole at the top, and that will keep it from getting clogged, because those can sometimes get clogged. So if you just tap it on the table before you put the cover back on, and then make sure you put the cover on relatively quickly. Let me just make sure those are down. Okay, I'm gonna put this cover on. Where did I put it? Here it is. So again, tap it on the table and then just stick that little, whoops, I missed. There we go. Stick that in there, and that should hold that in place. Now, I'm going to carefully lift this because I don't want to mess up, but if you can see right here, I actually colored outside of the lines a little bit. So I'm going to use my color lifter. This is actually designed to highlight, so like if I wanted to, you can actually see I did a little highlighting here on his belly. If I wanted to lift some of that color, I could kind of go over it with this, and it would just highlight that spot on his stomach. That's what it's designed to do, but it will also actually correct when you go out of the lines. It does kind of leave like a little watermark until it dries, but once it dries, you can't even tell. Sometimes if it's a really bad one, you'll have to go over it a couple of times, but for the most part, one shot will get it, and then it looks like you're a perfect colorer. So there you go. You can see there's a little, I don't even know if you can see it in the video actually, but there's a little bit of like a watermark on it right now, but it will dry and nobody will know the difference. And there you go. There's the cute little card with the background. And again, I'll show you the other one that I did with the butterflies. So it's just kind of a fun way to use your punches in a different way and get a lot of versatility out of them. I love the punches because they're super fast and easy. They're very handy to just have next to your desk and add a little embellishment or extra pizzazz to your card, and this is just another way for you to use them. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, I would love it if you would just hit like below. Even better if you hit subscribe. That way you won't miss out on any of the videos. And until next time, we'll have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Bye!